Hello and welcome to Please Me. Last week, Eve interviewed Bonnie and Bonnie from Bonnie's Herbals. They talked about their all-natural products for vaginal moisture and their sex butter, which is fantastic for lube. This episode touched upon menopause, cancer, masturbation, and vaginal atrophy. Don't let these issues catch you unaware and go back and listen. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Eve is a licensed sexual health physical therapist on a mission to destigmatize conversations about sex. Please sit back and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
Looking for a sexy date? STC.com is the premier ethically non-monogamous dating site that also houses a wealth of information regarding sexuality and sexual health. Join the Please Me Health Collective on STC.com and listen to Eve's free live webinars. Use code 37340 for a free trial membership. Maybe you are in the market for some sexy toys to add some spice to the bedroom. Check out the Organic Love link for the best online store for sex toys, lubes, and more.
So a smaller one and a bigger one.
Yes.
Which I love this one for vaginal and this one for anal.
I like a woman who
interchangeably.
knows what she likes. Yeah.
Now everybody's
Yeah,
going to know what
yeah.
I like, right? Ooh, oops. So this one's really fun, and it's stainless steel. Are you suffering from erectile dysfunction in silence? Are you embarrassed by premature ejaculation? Is it hard to get an erection that is long enough for penetration, or that lasts long enough to satisfy your partner and yourself? Just know that you are not alone, and that 20% of men suffer from erectile dysfunction in their 20s, and it goes up 10% per decade. So 50% of men in their 50s will have some form of erectile dysfunction. My name is Eve Hall, a licensed physical therapist who treats conditions such as erectile dysfunction and other sexual health conditions. I'm here to tell you that there is a solution to erectile dysfunction, and I offer the gold standard in my practice called Inspire Health Physical Therapy and Wellness. I have a full protocol to get your sexy back, so know that I am here to help. Just know that there is no shame in having any sexual health condition, including erectile dysfunction. If that is you, be sure to reach me on SDC.com and leave me a message there, or reach me on pleaseme.online to listen to my podcasts, or to leave me a message and book an appointment today. Hello, and welcome to Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I am so excited to welcome Taylor Sparks to the show. She is a repeat guest and was on my podcast in season 1, and she is back on season 3, and I am so excited to have her on today. Taylor Sparks has the most incredible store online, and she sells all sorts of sexy things, and it's called organiclovin.com, and I'm just going to pop that up right here. And I have been asking her to help me to curate a list of toys and gadgets for my website. And so she is here to talk about all the juicy details today about those items that we're going to be choosing for my website. So I cannot wait to create that with her. She is the author of the book, African American Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. And she is just a wealth of information and extremely smart and super sexy. So I am going to bring her on now and welcome her to the show. Hi, Taylor. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Eve. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited to be here. We're going to talk about some good things today, I know.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the first thing I want to bring up, you dabble a little bit in the dominatrix world and in the kink world, right? And so I want to know about your experiences in that world today. And today I brought my inner dominatrix and wore this outfit. So
I need to lower my camera a little. There we go.
oh, yes, that's good. I like that. Looking nice today. Very sexy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I am an erotic educator and sex goddess, but I discovered my dom side when I started dating dom guys. I met a couple who introduced me to polyamory and kink. At the same time, I was at Hito and spent a few nights with them, and
they did things to me that I was pretty sure was illegal in at least 3 states. But I enjoyed it, and then found out about FetLife, and then I went and I took the BDSM exam. I think it's called BDSM.org, I believe it is, on FetLife. And it was not on Fet, but you can take it. And I'm pretty much a switch. I'm more dominant naturally than not, but I do like to submit on occasion, sometimes, maybe with the right dom at the right time. And if you ask me nicely, I might. But biting was my first kink, and then spanking was my second kink, mostly during sex, but sometimes not. But I love, love, love to spank. So I also realize that I have a little bit of sadism in me because the spanking actually turns me on. It's such a turn. I've been fortunate that the men that I date are also into the things that I'm into. So we've had good times. Both, well, one is a switch like me. So I'm a dominant switch, which means that although I'm primarily dominant, I have dated guys who have been more dominant than me who do not switch. So even as a submissive or even as a dominant, you can do submissive acts. So you can lower your dominance for the party or for the pleasure of your dom. So there that is. So that's what I've done so far.
Wonderful so far. And I love that ending to the question because the sky is the limit when it comes to sexuality and thinking outside of the box and really being creative. This is how we play, right? This is how adults
Yes.
play. And creativity in the bedroom leads to hot and spicy sex. So I definitely recommend thinking outside of the box and thinking about where you are along that continuum of dominance and submission. And I too would consider myself a switch because I do most of the time, I would say that I'm more submissive than dominant, but I do have my moments where I love to be dominant and exploring that is a lot of fun. And I love to be spanked too. And you remember on the last podcast, I volunteered to be the spank model for you.
The,
So
the,
I
the
need to come
spank,
in.
you be the spanky.
I'll be the spanky and you'll be the
Yes.
spankophile. Is that what it is?
I'm a spankophile. Those who love spanking on either side are spankophiles, but I would be the spanker and you would be the spanky.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, either way is a spankophile. Okay, got it. So I am a spankophile as well.
Mhm.
I love it. All right, so since we've
Yeah.
been talking about our kinks, etc., I think we should talk about some toys now and see what sorts of things you have in your incredible store. And first of all, I want to just say that everything on Taylor's store, organiclovin.com, and I'll just pop that up again, is organic and natural. Okay. And I
Yes.
love that about her products. You're not going to put
Ah,
anything
thank
in
you.
your body that's going to put tons of chemicals or anything like that. And especially when you're talking about your genital area, you really need
Yes.
to be very careful about what you're putting there. And the genital area in women is another mucosal membrane, just like the inner part of your mouth, and it absorbs whatever you put on it. So just know that anything that's on her website is going to be healthy for your body.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's very important where I think a lot of people don't consider the fact that our skin is porous.
Yes.
And although they say up to 60% of what you put on the skin is absorbed into the bloodstream, but it's not everything. It's some things penetrate just the top layers, and some things are actually absorbed because if everything was absorbed, we drown every time we got into the shower. But as you mentioned, the vagina, the mouth, the nose, they're all covered in the mucous membrane. And up to 100% of what you put on it can be absorbed into the bloodstream, not just penetrated. So it is highly important. And I designed the website and designed my brand to make sure that people's sex life was as healthy as possible. So all of our products are either organic and or natural and eco-friendly. We are chemical free on the website. All of our condoms are vegan and not a lettuce wrap. You cannot eat it. So don't do that. And I think the only non-vegans one we carry are skins because some people, which is a polyisoprene, some people are allergic to latex. So we do carry those. That is not a non-chemical based product, but everything else we have over 1,400 products on the website, including books. So anything you're looking to get into, whether it's sex, sexuality, sexual health, everybody from teens to over 50 can find something on our website. When I say teens, there's a book for teens and young adults on their sexual health and wellness, not the sex toys themselves. You have to be at least 18 to purchase from the website. And lots of toys for women, men, trans, gay, straight. We have a good deal of products for you and the bodies you love to love, I like to say.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that it's so inclusive of everybody and there's toys for just about everybody there. Let's talk about some of my faves that I will be including on my website. And one of them I'm wearing right now, and it's the Crave vibrator, right? This one here. Talk about this one a little bit.
Yes.
And it's a Crave necklace, so you can wear it and walk around town and have a little secret around your neck. And it's kind of a
Yes.
sexy thing to put on it for a party, or it's very elegant looking, and I love it.
Yeah, it's called the Vesper by Crave, and they've come out with an updated one, and it comes in silver, gold, and rose gold. And like you said, it's just an elegant necklace that you get to wear, but it has four vibration modes on it. And so it's just a little clitoral bullet, but it is very powerful. And it's so unassuming. I always say you can wear it to work, and when your boss gets on your nerves, you can just go to the bathroom and
Ah, release that frustration, right? I mean, what better?
release that frustration. If we had more, or if we had more orgasms in life, a lot of us would be a lot less stressed. You can wear it to dinner with at your mother-in-law's, and when it gets stressful at dinner, you can go, "Excuse me," and take yourself to the bathroom and
I'll be
release
right
that
back. I need
stress.
to use the ladies' room. And you're right. Sex
Right.
is a great stress reliever, right? And I've heard from so many men who say that, like, in the middle of their workday, they go to the bathroom and masturbate. And that's a common thing for men
Yes.
because they're constantly having erections throughout the day, and that's natural. And if you're not having erections throughout the day, there may be issues with your erectile function, and you need to look at that. And, think about when
Yep.
you were a
For
teenager
sure.
and how often you got hard-ons, right? And then suddenly they like start to diminish until you stop getting morning wood, you stop having erections throughout the day, and those things are normal and natural. And if you're not getting those, that's an issue. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But absolutely, like, why can't a woman bring her little vibrator with her to work and
It's
trying to
quiet.
take
Yeah.
it's quiet, yep, and it's pretty powerful.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm all for that. A little stress relief. We all get those 15-minute breaks, and that's all you really need if you're
That's all
concentrating.
you need with that. And right, you'll be done in a minute. You'll be like, hey, and you just won't be bothered with anyone else throughout the day. It's good.
That's right.
But
That's
again,
right.
they're also good for if you go to parties like swing parties. It's nice to have. And I know some men that wear them.
That's a
They wear
great
them at the
idea.
parties.
Because why wouldn't you want to pleasure your partner? And if you're prepared, hey, you're going to be a much better lover, right? So I love that idea. And I
Yeah.
have to bring up my absolute most favorite toy. And I did find it on your website too. I'm not sure which brand you have, but Rosie is my fave.
Ah, you love the rose. So that's the relatively new. It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Coming out with the air technology, and so this rose everyone was talking about because it's got an air technology that sucks. And
Yes.
we have Romp has one of the brands that we have. We have a couple of different brands that make the rose, but we also have the Womanizer, which was the first one that came out with this new air technology that sucks. And so many women who love that sensation absolutely just went crazy over the rose. And I'm like, it's just a womanizer with a rose around it. They're like, whatever, we love it. And some of them you can get them more expensive, but there are several companies now, Satisfier, Romp, Womanizer, all on our site. If you just on our site and put up like sucking toys, you'll come up with a slew of different toys. Yeah. And not for everyone. You really have to love that sensation. But for
Yes.
those who do, it's great.
Yes, absolutely. It does. It is. You're absolutely right. The sucking action is something that you have to get used to. what I love about it is the surface area of the vibrating surface because it's very wide. It covers a lot of the
Yes.
around the clitoris, and it covers a lot of the labia and all of that. So it has a big surface area, which I love. And that's why this sometimes is
Yeah.
not enough because it's so little. But the rose is like
Yes.
big and wide. So that one really
Yeah.
like works for me. So I
So
love that.
it takes care because it takes care of the vibration of the legs of the clitoris.
Exactly, because the
The leg.
clitoris, when you're
Yes,
talking about
perfect.
anatomically, the clitoris is almost the size of the penis. But it's more
Mhm.
internal outside the
Yes.
clitoris and the hood. Internally, there are the legs and there's a big structure. So we won't go into anatomy today. We've done that in another podcast because we're going to be talking more about more fun things. So I want to mention that there's one that I don't have that I need to buy for myself. It's like a dual action vibrator, right? So there's one that stimulates externally the clitoris, and then it has a
Mhm.
part that goes internal as well, and it stimulates internally the G spot.
For some women, having the dual stimulation where you have the vibrator that has a part on top that fits over the clitoris that stimulates the clitoris. And then, of course, you have the vibrating part that is internally inserted. So you can actually have a dual orgasm, both clitoral orgasm and a vaginal orgasm at the same time. And for some women, it's just the perfect. It's like having a threesome without having to check on the third person tomorrow to see if it's okay, because you're getting like stimulated at two different areas at the same time. And then if you add on some nipple suckers, you'll just be full on with a lot of people who are not really actually there. But there's a lot of ways to have different orgasms: nipple orgasms, mouth orgasms, clitoral orgasms, vaginal orgasms, anal orgasms as well, right? Because there are some toys that will stimulate both the anus and the vagina at the same time. So dual orgasms are fabulous.
Are you in menopause, perimenopause, or postmenopause? I have found the absolute best products called Parlor Games. I use the estriol and progesterone topical creams, and they have been game changers. Maybe you've listened to the show and want to be featured as a guest. Eve uses Podmatch to connect with new or potential guests. Reach out and begin the process today.
One thing that I do want to bring up is natural materials and dildos with natural materials. And I found some beautiful dildos on your site. One of them was a black, like an obsidian stone or something. And then there was another pink one that is
Yes.
also a stone. And then I
Yes.
love
The
glass
one.
dildos as well because they're just beautiful.
Yes.
One, they're natural. Two, they're smooth. They go in smoothly. And this one in particular has a round side and one side that's not. You see how it's not round. It's like a little nub with
Yes,
these
yes.
bumps.
Yes.
This one's wonderful.
That looks fun, Eve.
This one's fun for anal. This one's fun for vaginal. It's like this. So I love that. That's a good one. So you want to go into the natural materials?
Yeah, so it is important for us to make sure that all of our products are of a natural. It's not so much it's natural, is that it's not the kind of chemicals that will leach. So when you have dildos that are very gelacious, that this rubbery kind of thing, when you open the package, it smells like rubber. You can smell the chemicals. Those are phthalates. And if you remember not too long ago, 10, 15 years ago, there was this big push to not use plasticware for cookware and not to put warm food in your plasticware because the phthalates is what gives the plastic its bend, if you will. And when you put something hot in it, that chemical leaches, which has been attached to all kinds of cancer, it leaches out of the plastic. So some of your sex toys, especially the gelacious ones, have phthalates in them. So we only carry silicone, medical grade silicone, glass, stainless steel, gold, and ABS plaques that do not have phthalates in them. Because if you think about it, if the phthalates are going to leach when the food is just warm, what's going to happen when you put that dildo in a 96-degree body? And again, as we mentioned, the anus, the vagina, it's covered in mucous membrane. It's going to absorb those. We stick with a good quality material and we have good price points, but we don't do anything cheap, anything that's going to fall apart. And even the glass products, they've been tested for breakage. And they're just not going to, if you accidentally drop them, they're not going to just break. So you always want to make sure you're getting your product from a reputable company that have looked into the manufacturing of those companies. What's really good about stainless steel and glass, they're good for temperature play. So that's a good thing to experience with. Speaking of stainless steel, is that an Enjoy or a Lawand?
I don't even know. I bought this so long ago, but I found one similar on your site and I put it on my wish list. And it's also stainless steel. This one has 2 balls on the ends, so a smaller one and a bigger one.
Yes.
Which I love this one for vaginal and this one for anal. They
No,
can be
I
used
like a woman who
interchangeably.
knows what she likes. Yeah.
Now everybody's
Yeah,
gonna know what I like, right? Ooh, oops. So yeah, so this one's really fun and it's stainless steel. I have to say though that this is a little much for me. Like I used to use this a lot and I loved it. And now the stainless steel is
Okay.
it's too like intense for me. It's like too, I don't know. Anyway, you have to
Is it
pay
heavy?
attention and listen to your body. It's heavy and it like can internally bruise. So I haven't been using that one too
Yeah,
much lately,
yeah.
but I do love the glass one and it slides really nicely. And of course, my little
Yeah.
stainless steel. And what I love
Butt
about
plug.
any butt plugs is I love anything that looks like jewelry.
Yeah.
So this one has a little
We love a
crystal heart
jewel
on
plug.
it. What's that?
I said, we love it. We love a nice piece of jewelry. I had to tell you a story. I was on the couples cruise one year before it became Bliss. And I think it was
Okay.
schoolgirl night. So everybody had, all the women had the really little short skirts. And we were at a big table, like 10, 15 people sitting at a table in the main dining room. And the woman was talking about her new butt plug and it had a crystal. I think, oh, it was a Hello Kitty butt plug. We actually sell it on the site. And it was a Hello Kitty, all crystals. And someone said, she goes, yeah, I'm wearing it right now. They goes, you're wearing it right now? Yeah, we want to see. So she stands up and she puts her foot on the dining room table, bends over to show her ass. And we're all like, oh, wow. The waiter walks by with a tray of food and damn it loses the whole thing. It was the funny because the waiter just was like, what in the, why is her whole ass up in the air? Why am I seeing her whole ass in the air? He almost dropped the whole tray of several plates. It was very funny. It was very funny.
That is very funny. And I always think about these, like the Bliss cruise that you just talked about, which I haven't been on any of these kind of vacations, but
wow.
it's interesting because on these cruises that are like takeovers or hotel takeovers or whatever, there's people, employees that work on these cruises that suddenly are like inundated with this wild party and
Yeah.
they're not ready for it. Sometimes they're not ready for it. So that waiter was obviously
They-
not
they've all-
expecting.
The ones on the ship, for the takeovers on the ship, they know what it is. They could
Right.
opt out of it.
Right.
They all get to opt out of it. And then, of course, for those of you who have not been at the pool and at, especially for the hotel takeover, where the hotel is not a type swinger type resort or that, if it's just a takeover, it's a regular hotel that has been taken
Right.
over. So we don't allow sex by the pool or blowjobs by the pool or in the hallway or no place else other than the playroom because the people who work there should not be subjected to our kinks and things just because they're work jobs. So they do have the rules and boundaries as to where you can be to explore sexually. So once you decide the playroom, only the people on the team for the producer of the event is at that door, not the hotel staff doesn't go in there. We're in charge of making sure that it's clean and people got condoms. And, yeah, they still get to look at naked people all the time by the pool. They read with dark sunglasses on. They have a good time.
I'm sure that started many a conversion into the lifestyle or the ethical non-monogamous lifestyle because sometimes people have just no exposure, right? And so suddenly you have this exposure and you're like, wow, this is very interesting. What is going on here?
Yeah. If they're really,
They
they
just
tend to ask a lot. I'm sorry, they
a
tend
lot
to
of
ask a lot of
questions,
questions.
right?
Yes, they're like, where are you? I need to call my wife or my husband and see if we might be interested in this thing. Yes.
Yes,
Ha
why
ha.
not? Why not? I want to talk about, we already brought condoms, right? And I like the Helo
Uh-huh.
condoms that you have on your site. And we talked about how they're, and it's always important to protect yourselves. And I talk a lot about safe sex on the podcast. I haven't done an episode
Yes.
recently, but safety is key with any sexual
Yes.
experience. And having those conversations with your partner is so key to make sure that you're protecting yourself throughout the whole experience, changing condoms often, and all of that good stuff.
No.
So, no double dipping. Yes.
That means you don't go from one vagina to the next without changing condoms, and you don't go from the vagina to the next and the anus back. You don't do double dipping.
That's right. And you just mentioned what I was about to say is that you don't want to have anal sex with a condom on and then use that same condom and go into the vaginal canal, because you can transmit infection, bacteria, all of that can cause a lot of
Ew.
issues. So, yes.
Yes.
So, always make sure that you're paying attention to your hygiene throughout the sexual experience. And yes, sex gets messy. There's nothing wrong with that. We like the messy, but we just have to be conscious of, the transmission of germs from one orifice to another.
We have the liberator throws for the messy sex. Nothing seeps through. Those are good for squirters, or your husband always wants to come on the sheets or someplace else and it's dripping everywhere. They're machine washable. I don't know if you have a throw. The throw
Yes, that's
throws
got to be on my
absolutely
list, because
amazing.
Liberator throws. And I was just about to talk about the liberators themselves, right? There's some pillows and there's some
Mhm.
furniture. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Liberator line.
Yeah, Liberator is one of our best-selling lines. They make lots of wedge-shaped pillows. They also make what they call toy mounts. So you can put your small vibrators or your big ones in it so that you can mount the toy, if you will. It almost turns into a sex machine, if you will. They're made of a really dense foam that has a moisture barrier protected cover over it. And then they have the really soft microfiber on top of that. Lots of colors. They have the Black Label line, but they make a throw that also has a moisture barrier. So nothing seeps through. You can get travel size, you can get queen size and king size for your bed. And it just goes in the wall, toss it on the floor when you're no more wet in the bedroom. But and lots of different colors. They are one of the best, a really good investment because it protects your sheets. Some of us pay a lot of money for our sheets, and you know what? Ick when sex gets messy all over your damn sheets. So I love my Liberator throws.
Or the mattress, because you can have a blanket and a comforter and 2 sheets. And if you are having a lot of squirting situations happening, that can penetrate through all of that and can get into the mattress. So you have to make sure that you have a mattress pad or this Liberator throw, which seems like it could be used over or under or both.
Yeah. Most people just put it right on top. They put it right on top of the sheets or right on top of the, your blanket, whatever. And then when you're done, you just toss it on the floor and put it in the wash the next day. Of course, now I always tell people, look, if you have pets or children, if you have young children, especially, you're going to come home one day and your child's going to be wrapped up in your blanket. And you'll be like, what are you doing with my blanket? That's mommy's special blanket. They're like, that was cold. Like, go put on a sweatshirt and some socks. Give me my. And you look at your man, be like, I told you to put that damn thing in the wash. And if you have a dog, you'll come home one day and your dog would be just like, just rolling and laying on your blanket and because they're dogs. They love all that nasty shit. Now, your cat, of course, will not do that. Your cat will walk by the blanket and go, oh, what the fuck was that? Ew, you all are just nasty. Cats are very clean. They're not going to lay on a nasty cum-filled blanket. It's not going to happen. But yeah, the blanket will be used for everything other than what you want.
Yes, and the dogs have such a strong sense of smell. They like to sniff each other. Your kids don't have a very good sense of smell, so they're not even going to realize it. So put your toys away after using them, because these are adult toys and don't need to be subject to the children. Yes, keep a special
For
special
sure.
treasure box. And maybe that's got to be something that I, put on there too. Do you have any nice treasure boxes?
Yes, we have several soft and hard toy cases. We have the soft ones that are like pouches with zip and have a little lock. And then we have the bigger cases. They're like a hard case. It's like leather and metal and it's got a big lock on it. And then it comes in 2 different sizes and I think 3 different colors. So yes, you want to hide your things from your children. But we have some simple ones that are just like a nice pouch. But the material on the inside is made so that it's antibacterial. So always make sure, of course, to wash your toys. And all of our toy cleansers are also natural and or organic. So you don't have chemical residue on them. But yeah, you want to put your toys, if you got, kids or people visiting, you want to put your toys away. But it's just nice
Absolutely.
to store them someplace and not just toss them in the drawer. Some of us just toss them in the drawer. But you have a nice wand. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's an investment, right? It's an investment, and you are creating your toy chest. And kids have toy chests, adults can have toy chests too. So I like the idea of putting them somewhere. And I love the fact that the first one that you mentioned has a little lock on it. I don't know
Mhm.
if the second one does, but I love
Yes,
the
they
idea
all
of
do.
having a little lock on it so that people that are nosy can't be finding things that you don't want them to find. So I think that is a very smart idea. And there
Yes.
are so many beautiful products on this site. I'm just going to
Okay.
mention a few because there's this, and I personally have never been gagged before. It scares me, the idea of it. Plus, I like to talk a lot and bark out orders. But
This is why we're going to gag. Man, right? This is why we're gagging you just for that reason.
just for that reason. But there is one that I saw on your site that is like a rose, a flower,
Yes,
and
it's by
oh my
Zyla.
gosh,
Oh, I
it
have
was
it.
so
I should have brought it
beautiful.
in here. It's stunning.
Oh,
I should go get it.
oh, go get it. I'll
I
wait.
have it here. You will? Okay, hold on. I'm going to go get it so they can see it. Hold
Okay.
on.
Oh my gosh, I love that one.
And
Okay,
we're
she's
back.
back.
So
So,
this is the rose. It goes that way. But the rose itself, like an, oopsie, I can take this out of here. So it does come out
okay.
and you can wear the gag just like that. Okay.
Okay, so it's attached to a gag also. Okay, and the
Yeah.
it comes off and on. Okay, it
Yeah.
is so beautiful. I love it. I
Yes.
think it looks so sexy. I might be tempted. I might be tempted to buy it and maybe gag someone else with it, but
You can always join from the other side of the rose.
that's right. That's right. And there's some other really interesting things that I had never considered before. Lube applicators that I think is a great idea because sometimes you're like dipping your fingers. I don't know. I love coconut oil, so that's like my favorite. But I
Okay.
did find some like
Okay.
really nice natural lubes on your site. And then there were these little applicators. And I'm assuming
Lube
that,
launcher.
yes. And it's like a little, almost like a syringe, right? And it just puts it in the right spot, right? And then it's also everything that's in that container is clean, right? It's
Yep.
not like you're putting your hand in the same dirty container. And I'm always like washing those containers out because that's what happens, right? So
Yeah.
this is a great idea just to stay clean and make sure that your lube is not contaminated.
I think the lube launcher is the greatest invention since the toaster because normally we put lube on, we just put some on our fingers, right? We just put some on our fingers. But then once you insert it, the lips grab it, and that's about as far as it gets. And even if you put it on the tip of the penis, once you insert it, the lips grab it, and that's as much as you get. So when you halfway or fully put the lube in the launcher, and then you put the launcher high in the vagina, and you launch the lube way up top, now it's working its way down. It's working its way down while you're having sex. I like to pre-lube before having sex, like you're going to go out to dinner or dancing. And if you use a heavy gelacious lube, like an aloe vera based lube, because like coconut oil is
Okay.
really thin.
Yes.
So as soon as you put that in, it's running out. I would put on, like at the party, I'm going to be out for an hour, maybe a quick dinner. And just before I put my shoes on, I pre-lube. It's so while I'm sitting
Getting
there
ready
at
for
dinner,
later.
it's working its way down. Yeah, it's working its way down. And
That
you
is
get
an
back to the
interesting
room
idea.
and he touches you and he goes, "Oh my God, you're so wet." And you go, "I know, baby. I could barely wait. That's what you do to me."
I love it. And having all of
He
this
won't
like
know.
sexy interplay and thinking about these things. Why shouldn't we be thinking about these things and thinking ahead
Yes.
and
Yes.
planning what sexy things you guys are going to get into later on? So I
Mhm,
love that.
mhm.
And I found some other really sexy things too. An over door restraint, which I thought was really fun. Some leather handcuffs that I thought were really sexy, and some nipple clamps that had, and of course I said I love jewelry, right? They have chains hanging
Yes.
down and all these like little diamonds and stuff.
Oh, yes, that's the oh my God, who makes I think XR Brands makes that's relatively new and it's very popular. It's very popular. Yeah. We have the nipple clamps, we have the nipple suckers, we have the nipple twisters, which you put a nipple and you twist it and it creates a vacuum and you twist it. But you know what you can do with those also? You can put those on the clit.
Oh wow,
We
that
have
would be
clit.
super intense. Yep.
Yeah, we have clit clamps also.
So many amazing things. And I swear we can sit here and talk for hours, but we've already run
True.
out of time. Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.
So I want
This
to
is
ask you my
incredible.
last question that I ask all of my guests. And this is an interesting question for you because I always say you can answer with something physical or it could be anything, right? It could be something mental or whatever you want to answer. But the question is, what do you bring to the bedroom to make things spicier?
Oh, spicier than I already am.
I know yourself, right?
The thing, my basically, I think what I bring to the bedroom to make it spicier is being open for the possibilities of what we will indulge in. Like, I'm willing to try some things. So going to the bedroom with an open mind, be like, okay, are we going to do something new, something different position, and just it's the willingness to please, and more so to be pleased, but mostly it's the willingness to please is what I come with. I'm just like, I'm about to rock your damn world.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. And really honing your skills and learning how to please is something that we can all learn to do as women and as men and non binary, everything in between, LGBTQ, trans. We can
Sure.
all learn better how to pleasure and how to receive pleasure. Trying to hone those
Yes.
skills is always a great idea. And I love that that's what you bring, an openness to try things that are new. And Taylor's got all the bells and whistles, I'm sure. She brings all her toys as well. But before the toys, you have to have the willingness to use them and to try new things.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And I want to make sure
Thank
that
you.
my listeners can find you. So can you tell us where we can find you?
Yes, of course. My website is organiclovin, LOVEN.com. And you can find me on all social media, IG and X and TikTok. And of course, we also have a YouTube channel as product reviews and our podcast. And my podcast is called Sisters of Sexuality. And you can find that on all streaming services for podcasts, iTunes and Google Play. And you can also visually watch the podcast on the Organic Love and YouTube channels. I'm out here in these streets. I'm in the social media streets is where I am.
That's right. And she is the sex goddess of the internet. So you're going to have to follow her and check out her YouTube channel and listen to her podcast. And she's amazing. And I thank you
Thank
again
you.
for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much for having me.
you're welcome. And this site right here is the reason why I know
Yeah.
Taylor, SDC.com. And so the promo code for that is 37340. And if you use that promo code, you can get a free trial membership on me. SDC.com
Perfect.
brought Taylor and I together, and it brought
Yes.
actually my boyfriend and I together because that's where I met him. And
Really?
I have met so many incredible people. And I have to say, too, that SDC is also a place for education. And I provide free education on there on a monthly basis. And Taylor also does webinars and other things on there. Do you want to just mention some of the things that you do on SDC?
Yes, I contribute to the contents that's similar to you. So I have articles on there as well as my Sister Sexuality podcast. You can listen there as well. I do a webinar called The Journey into Ethical Non-Monogamy, which is on Saturdays, and you can find it on SDC.com as well as on my organiclovin.com website. And it's just an introduction to the different types of ethical non-monogamy that exist, the 5 main ones, how they function, a little bit of information on there about communication. And then I'm also an ethical non-monogamous coach, helping people to transition in or through ethical non-monogamy. So I offer coaching services as well.
I'm telling you, Taylor is amazing. So check her out. And all of those links are also on her website, Organic Lovin'. And she's a speaker that travels around the world talking about different all sorts of different topics. But she's gonna be doing one of those coming up shortly. And one of these days, I need to come to one of your workshops, or we need to connect somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's on the bucket list.
Sure.
Thank you so much for being on the show again, Taylor. And until next time.
Looking for the best live streaming or podcast recording site? Look no further than StreamYard. Get $10 off your first purchase. For podcast hosting, Buzzsprout is the absolute best option out there. Get $20 off your first purchase. Have any questions? Feel free to call me on the OWL app. Use code EAGE576472 for $10 free to use on the best networking app around. Give me a call. If you're experiencing sexual issues and need a physical therapy consultation or appointment, reach out to Eve and make an appointment on pleasemeet.online. See all links and info in the show notes.